Now let us begin the 2022 Global Metaverse Conference and ASEAN Forum. I would like to thank all our offline and online participants. I am MC Lee Seung-hee. Thank you. Once again, thank you for being with us today.
본격적인
Before we begin, let me give you a brief house announcement. The conference is covered by simultaneous interpretation. For those of you who need this, please tune into the channel on the screen. Channel 1 is for Korean and Channel 2 is for English. We have Q&A session after the presentation, so please tune into the language of your preference and actively participate.
Sessions today, we would like to inform you some announcements. First of all, we would like to provide a simultaneous interpretation service. If you need any translation service, please select channel 1 for Korean and channel 2 is for English. 함께하고 계시는 이 자리는요.
Today's event is being streamed live on ROK ICT Convergence Village YouTube channel and its Facebook channel as well. So please turn your mobile phone or electronic devices into vibration or silent mode.
This forum will be live streamed through the official YouTube channel and the Facebook channel of the ASEAN-RoK ICT Convergence Village. So for the smooth running of the event, please turn off all your electronic devices or put them on silent mode. Thank you. 네, 여러분 2022 글로벌 메타
The day 2 of 2022 Global Metaverse Conference and ROK ASEAN Forum has now begun. Let me give you a brief introduction. During the morning session, we will have ROK ASEAN Forum Session 1, which is on cooperation case studies. Session 2 is on market and policy introduction, as well as future cooperation ideas. In the afternoon, we will have Global Metaverse Conference Track 2 titled Metaverse Policies and Applications. So please be with us until the end. You can find all the presentation materials in the deck distributed at the lobby. But the material can be provided based on first come, first served basis. So please understand. And you can find all the materials online as well using the QR code. Again, today, many Metaverse experts from home and abroad will share their insights, so please actively participate. And for our offline participants, we'll have a lucky draw at the end of this event, so please stay with us until the very end. So for those of you who were not here yesterday, I will briefly cover the introduction of this event. This conference is hosted by the Ministry of Science and ICT and Busan Metropolitan City Government and run by Busan IT Promotion Agency. The aim of this conference is to promote the XR metaverse industry of ROK and ASEAN region. Busan IT Promotion Agency, as a follow-up of its 2019 ROK ASEAN Special Summit, has established and operated ROK ASEAN ICT Convergence Village and supported Korean XR Metaverse companies in their efforts to advance into ASEAN markets. In today's conference, Global Metaverse Conference and ROK ASEAN Forum, we will share the latest trends of XR Metaverse industry of Korea and abroad, and we will identify future ideas for further collaboration. I hope you actively participate, and if you have any question, please leave it in the chat box or raise your hand. I believe that every one of you will stay until the end of this event. So the first session is the collaboration case studies. The first presenter is Vice President of YST, Mr. Kwon Ki-jung, and his presentation is on achievements and visions of the Korean ASEAN XR joint project. Please give him a big round of applause.
예, 안녕하세요.
Good morning. I am Kwon Ki-jung, in charge of XR technology and broadcasting services at YST. I am very glad to share with you our best cases in the field of Metaverse. In 2021, we participated in Korea-ASEAN collaboration project for Vietnam Imperial Palace of Hue. So we are waiting for the final confirmation from the Ministry of Culture of Vietnam. After getting the confirmation, we will begin the service in Vietnam. So I will share the best cases that we have done in 2021. And I will also introduce you about our upcoming project, which is about Safety XR in Brunei. Vietnam Imperial Palace is designated as the UNESCO World Heritage Site. In 27 and 28, KAIST supported a project to digitally restore the Imperial Palace of Hue. And while expanding the business area in 27, YST collaborated with HMCC and signed an MOU to proceed with the joint project. For the 2-year period, we have developed a VR experience hall. While doing so, due to COVID, our project has suspended for 2 years. We decided to renew the service, and at that time, Busan IT Promotion Agency announced that the agency will have an ROK ASEAN collaboration project contest, and we applied for that and you were selected. So I'll share some of the video clip on our project.
예, 지금 드론으로 본
This is a drone image of Hue Imperial Palace. We have recorded 3D scan and checked all the historical materials to do 3D modeling. It took about 1 year. We have developed a VR content using all those materials. In the initial stage, due to the limitation of the devices and technology, the quality was poor. But while progressing the XR project, we have improved the VR quality as well. And this video clip is about the official event that we had at the opening ceremony of VR Experience Hall.
보시는 영상은 저희가
The video clip that you are about to see is the VR content, XR content that we provide at Hue Imperial Palace. When visitors wear an HMD, they can see this content. The gate that you see on the screen is the real one, exists in physical space, and the content that is provided there is the content that we have developed. In just 8 months, we have developed this content. While developing the VR content, we had 3D graphic materials and so on, so we could complete this project in a relatively short period of time. Due to COVID, we couldn't visit there on site. But we have Vietnam branch office, and we had our partner at IDCOM. So we are just about to do the commercialization of this project. And many people said that this project is amazing. When we planned this project, we set up our goal to provide it as a Metaverse project. So our goal is to provide an XR content to the visitors that we have developed based on VPS technology. And for the online visitors, we can provide VR content on Hue Imperial Palace. At the same time, online users can dispatch their avatar to the site and communicate with each other. To use the VR content, the online participants have to download the app on our website, YST website, and then use the content. So the project includes 6 XR content and 6 VR content, as well as visual content. Within the experience hall, we have 4K media wall as well as a kiosk. And we provide 360 web service and offline visitors can experience that. So I'll explain to you about how we developed this project. Now you see on the screen is the VPS-based content, VR content. Initially, there was a mismatch in terms of physics, and we have developed 6 VR contents within the Imperial Palace of Hue. If we see the development stages, while developing the VR content, we had many trials and errors. So while embarking on the XR project, we signed an MOU with HMCC. So we secured as many historical records as possible and had to get confirmation from the Ministry of Culture due to that. And the Imperial Palace is being restored at this point in time, so doing a VPS was very difficult, but thanks to the support of HMCC, we could do that. This is the inside of VR experience wall and the 4K media wall that I mentioned. You can see the overall introduction of our project and all the historical events that were held in Imperial Palace of Hue. While doing so, among those contents, we gave an overview about the cultural heritage of Vietnam. As you can see, the upper video of images is a cloud point data that we captured using VPS technology, and we matched it with our drone images. So we connected all those images, the facial expressions and historical clothing, we had to check it with the historical records. Through all those process, whenever we revise it, it took more than 1 week to get confirmation from the HMCC. We had to check it with them, but we could complete it in just 1 month. So that contributed to the early completion of this project, I think. On the screen, you can see South Gate, Outer Pavilion, Inner Pavilion, and many sites within the Imperial Hue. And in terms of XR and VR content, you can see introduction video, festival video, and we provide this within the VR experience hall, and using the kiosk, the visitor can check where they can see all these contents. Using the 360 web-based content, the on-site visitors can enjoy this kind of video clips using their HMD. To make this possible, Vietnam branch office staff had to visit the site to check whether it works. After completing the project, while we are preparing for commercialization, we realized that if there are so many visitors, there can be some mismatch in terms of location recognition. So we improved the technology to use the marker and VPS together when we provide the service. So we made this upgrade to fix the bug. We named it KXR Tour Platform. Based on this, we plan to enter into other ASEAN regions. We are currently consulting with Indonesia. They have a lot of interest on this to have it in their country. This year and next year, we have a plan to develop Safety XR. In Brunei, as you can see on the screen, the country is relatively rich, but excluding oil and gas, the industrial development is kind of premature, so there are a lot of safety accidents in the industrial field. In order to minimize those industrial accidents, we are going to develop Safety XR to train employees, and we are going to provide them with XR safety content to train foreign workers who plan to come to Korea. Last week, I visited Brunei for this project. Later on, you will be able to hear from a Rumin Corporation presentation, but I met with Rumin Corporation and discussed with them to provide ICT training and education in relation to safety that covers wide range of ages. The image on the slide is the request from Rumin Corporation and their suggestion. Based on their suggestion, we have developed 4 services. Using VR technology, we made safety accident experience available. And using XR glasses, we developed training, simulation, case scenarios, and we developed mobile VR scenarios as well. So when the person record or take photographs of the location he is in, then our XR content let him or her know about any potential safety accidents around. There is a laws and regulation related to safety and accident in Brunei, so we had to study those laws and regulations to be in compliance with the law. We are going to use Oculus Quest 2 for VR, and for XR, we will use Unreal Glass, just as the project in Vietnam. We plan to proceed with this project in 1.5 years, and this depends on how we collaborate with Rumin Corporation. People from Rumin are very active and supportive, and while I was in Brunei, they are very interested in expanding this project to cover other areas as well. And I had some meetings with startups in Brunei. Before the completion of the project in Brunei, I think we will be able to complete developing the Safety XR contents. While leading this project with Rumin Corporation is a startup that has 3 years experience. The mobile service or distribution rate of mobile devices in Brunei the rate is very low. So there will be a lot of challenges in order to apply this technology in Brunei. So this year we are going to develop mobile 360 and some initial technology, and next year we are going to test the communication system and network in Brunei to check whether we can distribute the technology locally. So far was the Vietnam Hue Palace VR and XR project and the upcoming project that we will lead in Brunei in terms of safety accidents. If you have any question, please raise your hand. Due to time limitation, we will receive one question from the floor. Do you have any question? I'll give you the microphone. Thank you for your presentation. I'm very proud that Korea is leading a collaborative project with other countries. I think it's a good practice, a good use cases. You've mentioned that you plan to commercialize this service in August 2022. From entrepreneur perspective, I am curious how you earn money, your revenue stream. After commercialization, who will pay for your service? And what's your revenue stream? If it is difficult to share the exact number, could you share the device and fixed costs, upfront costs? And I would like to ask the BEP of this project. We have invested a lot while developing the VR content. We put in about 2,000 million won. And we have, as mentioned, Vietnam branch office, and we hired 20 people there. The pandemic situation is alleviating, so for each person, we need to pay around 1.5 million won to hire them. And many visitors pay money to get an experience as VR experience hall. One person pays around 7,000 won. And for XR content, we'll charge around 10,000 won. And per day, the maximum earning that we have was around 1.5 billion won. So if we think about the currency value or so, it's around 30 million won value. So we had concerns as well because the entrance fee of 7,000 won per one VR content and per one entrance is very low. And we need to share this money with revenue with HMCC and local company that we cooperate. So we invested all the initial investments because we got a lot of support from HMCC. When the COVID situation gets better, and if 3.5 million visitors go to the site, and if 1 or 2% of those visitors use our VR experience hall, then we will be able to earn around 300 million Korean won per year. Due to time limit, this is the last question that we can receive. Please give him a big round of applause once again. So far, it was Vice President Kwon Ki-jung from YST. Again, due to time limit, we couldn't receive all the questions you had. But if you have questions, then please leave the questions on the website. There's an email address, so please ask your question through email. We'll get them answered. And for all the Q&A ahead of us, the approach will be the same.
We will invite the CEO Kim Do-gun from the GD Communication, who will present on the Korea ASEAN Metaverse Gallery platform. Please welcome him with a big round of applause. Hello, good morning. I am CEO Kim Do-gun from GD Communication. My presentation is about the virtual experience platform, the Korea ASEAN Metaverse Gallery platform. Let me introduce our company briefly. We are in Busan, and we are offering this online or virtual exhibition platform or software. And our main business is about this virtual exhibition space and for the photo or the gallery exhibition. So the virtual exhibition is the project that we are running for the universities or the local governments. And also on the offline, there is also virtual. There are the exhibitions, and we can also have the virtual exhibitions as a digital twin by taking pictures of the exhibitions for the virtual twin exhibition. And at a university, I got the PhD for the 3D exhibition or the imaging technology, and I worked on this for the past 5 years. And I've been developing this gallery and exhibition virtual technology. These are our partners, the art associations or the art fairs or the public organizations, universities, and the private companies. So we have a broad range of the clients that we are serving. And this virtual exhibition platform is what I will present today. So this is the 3D virtual exhibition platform. So without renting an exhibition space, you can have the 3D virtual exhibition for photos or the galleries or the artwork. And what's unique about our technology is that this is the virtual exhibition, and it's not a 3D digital or the virtual exhibition, but the public governments or the other organizations exhibitions, we take pictures and we turn them into 3D digital twin gallery. And by capturing these pictures of the images or the videos or the audio are transferred to this virtual space. So anyone can access our platform, and right away you can join and log on to our website, and you can have like a 20-minute virtual exhibition, and I will share the QR code to access our website, and on there you can exhibit your family photos or your own artwork or creations. So with the digital twin technology, we thought that the artwork are so expensive, and it's really important to make it really immersive and realistic. So rather than applying the 3D rendering, we actually take the pictures of the actual artwork and transfer that into a digital twin. Let me show you some short video clip. And you can go onto our platform, and let's assume that you can create your own artwork. This is the digital twin, and you can select that. And you can select the title and the descriptions. And then the virtual space is where you can get into. This is the digital twin of the actual offline and physical exhibition hall, and you can add the videos or the music and the artwork, like the scale, and also you can add the NFT link. And on the wall, you can hang the paintings. The biggest benefit is that it's really immersive and realistic, so you cannot tell the difference whether it's like 3D virtual rendering or whether it's actual pictures of these paintings. And if you deploy them, and then you can send the link and share the link on the social media so that everyone can invite it to join and look at your paintings, and you can enlarge the images because the texture is really important about the art paintings, and you can add comments or you can show your likes. And you can add some voices over as a curator or as a creator. You can add some descriptions And also you can play some background music as you watch and walk around the exhibition hall. You don't need to download any application, and on mobile or desktop, you can just go onto the web browser. So it's very simple, and you can also have some data analytics function. So this solution has been developed before the pandemic because we were asked by many clients to develop this virtual exhibition technology. In April this year, we launched that as an open platform in Korea. And with the ASEAN countries, we were planning to export the technology. And from the Busan IT technology or industry promotion agency selected us as the collaborative project. So we are now planning to export this technology to the ASEAN countries so that the students and artists can create their own exhibition, and on one platform we can build the Rok-Asean art exhibitions all together combined in one place. So let me share with you how we came to develop this technology. The COVID was one factor, and the NFT is now emerging, and many people are investing in the art works, and they are making money out of the investment in the artworks, and many young generation is making investment into the artworks. And on the left, you can see this is the Google trend, and the virtual exhibition is now trending up. And on the right, you can see the artwork used to be purchased at the art fairs or the art galleries offline, and the online share is now going up from 13% to 30%. So we are seeing more transactions made in the virtual space. So the galleries or the art creators want to have their virtual exhibition, but there are no dedicated platforms. So from $5,000 or $30,000 are what you need to pay to have your own virtual exhibition hall. So it's not easy for individuals to come up with that. We have the eFriend or Geppetto. The local Metaverse platforms are available in Korea, but these are not enough for art exhibition because their virtual space is really not enough for displaying like a very high-end paintings and artwork, and they don't really support these other functions of like enlarging images. So the Metaverse platforms are not really adequate for the art exhibition. So we decided to develop one platform on our own. So why virtual exhibition? Well, it's not just for the COVID-19. Some people may think that way, but in 2022, April this year, we launched this product. And for 4 months, we have been running this platform, and we had 750 exhibitions in total. And in just 4 months, we have more than 220,000 visitors to the exhibition. So what we learned from the experience was that after the COVID-19, this virtual exhibition will be in high demand because the cost is like the cost of holding this virtual exhibition is only 1/20 of the offline physical exhibition. So it's quite lower in terms of price, and even students and anyone can hold their own exhibitions. And the number of the visitors is like 10 times more than the physical exhibitions. So usually we have like 1,000 to 5,000 visitors per exhibition, but for the physical exhibition, it's only 200 to 300, and you don't need to have any trips or transportation needed because you can just send the images of your painting work. So it's really a good tool for international exchange, and you can share the link with anyone. At first, we developed this technology targeting the art galleries or the art fairs, and universities can also use it for their graduation exhibition. And students, sometimes they can take pictures of the historic sites, and they can curate their own like a history museum. So it's a really good tool for education and good for the private art institutes, or it can be also used for the club members who love art. So in Korea, many public organizations have their own virtual exhibition hall to provide all the images and data to their people and universities as well. So we learned that the scope of the services could be really broadened to a larger target, and it is cloud-based service. So anytime, anywhere, you can get access, and you can create your own exhibition in just 20 minutes. And you can take pictures of the physical exhibition hall, and a lot of communication tools are available, and it also supports the NFT trading. And moving forward, this is the next steps toward the roadmap for the business. As I mentioned before, April this year, we launched this service in Korea, and with the ROK ASEAN XR collaborative project supported by the Busan IT Industry Promotion and Agency, we are now developing the ASEAN project for Vietnam or other foreign languages in the ASEAN countries, and we plan to complete the development by September. And we may go to 3 ASEAN countries to have some presentation session to introduce our technology to the artist. And by mid-October, we plan to have a ROK ASEAN Art Fair. So the artists from ASEAN countries can create their exhibitions virtually, and we can put them all together in one website so that the Indonesia, Vietnam, Korea, or the other countries artists can come together to put all their paintings or artworks in one place. And this is something that we are developing these days. Can I play the video? Hello, everyone is here. Hello, everyone. We are having this Isungu art exhibition. I am Miss Seol. And this is now hosted by the Gallery Joey. And before we get into the hall, on the left, you can see the video. Let's watch the video before we get into the hall. So this technology is about the docent program, or providing some information about the artwork for virtual exhibitions. Different participants and visitors can join, and they can have conversation. And there is a docent or the instructor who will explain about the artworks, and even the creators themselves can join. And the technology will be completely developed by October. So when you use this service and technology, you can have your own exhibition. Even students can open their own exhibition on a virtual environment. And you can have the opening ceremony as well on the virtual space. Many local and municipal governments and universities, when we ask them, they say what they are interested is to develop the civic artist, or this, or they want to make it democratized, because usually art exhibition cost a lot of money, and not every artist could hold their exhibition, and the students or general public could not have their own exhibition. But now the technologies are available, and anyone can have their own exhibition and invite their friends and share the link, and they can also have the feedback and comments from the visitors. And these artists from the public or the civil society can be motivated to do their own art creation. So it will really contribute to the democratization of the art. And we plan to expand that into the ASEAN countries in the second half of the year. So if any universities or the municipal governments or companies are interested in this service, then we can work together to get into your market. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your great presentation. If you have any questions, please raise your hand. and we may take one question from the floor. It was a great and meticulous presentation. Thank you very much. Thank you. That was it.
네, 고맙습니다.
Thank you once again. If you have any question left, as mentioned, you can post it on our website. There is a question button, and that will lead you to the email section. So that was a second presentation. Now let's begin session 2. We will hear about market and policy introduction and identify future collaboration ideas. First is from our Philippine speaker, Mr. Jonathan de Luzuriaga, President of Philippine Software Industry Association. His presentation will be on Journey to the Metaverse, Reality Meets Virtuality. The presentation will be given via online. So the presentation will be given through online. So if you have any question, please send us an email. And we had 2 speakers for session 1, and for session 2, we had 8 speakers. We will be able to hear diverse ideas and case studies of each country. So I hope all of you could learn from many cases, collaboration cases of Korea and ASEAN collaboration. And going forward, if you have any suggestions and a recommendation for the future steps for ASEAN-RoK collaboration, please suggest to us. Now the speaker is ready, so please give him a big round of applause.
A pleasant good morning to everyone. I was hoping that I would do this face-to-face and live, but unfortunately, there has been challenges in terms of my travel to Korea. This is not my first time that I will be coordinating and collaborating with VIPA. In fact, I think this is the 4th time that I'll be doing an event for VIPA. And again, I miss your country. It's a beautiful country, and I hope that I could visit it again soon. I was given a very challenging topic to discuss this morning. And this is actually about the Metaverse. And I aptly named the presentation Journey to the Metaverse, Reality Meets Virtuality. And I'm hoping to give some insights in terms of the Philippine experience as far as what the Metaverse is concerned. Let me put some context. First and foremost, for somebody who was born in the 70s, it's quite difficult to even comprehend and even to imagine that I will be talking about something that is both exciting and scary at the same time. So allow me to first introduce myself. My name is Jonathan Defensor de Luzuriaga. I'm currently the president of the Philippine Software Industry Association. I'm also a board of trustee of the IT and Business Processing Association of the Philippines. And I am also the CEO and president of Spring Valley, which is attempting to be the Philippines' version of Silicon Valley here. So I might be preaching to the choir when it comes to the basics of the Metaverse. But allow me to just attempt to even put into words what the Metaverse is. So apparently, this comes from the French word over the world, which is a metaphorical term for a hypothetical word that people with telepathic mental powers can explore. But in essence, let's all have the same understanding that it's one giant virtual universe. What are the characteristics of the Metaverse? First, there's basically 4 major items. Real meets virtual, and they become one. It basically enhances the communication between parties, such as what we're doing right now. I'm currently settled here right smack in the middle of the Republic of the Philippines. And I'm now reaching out to our friends there in Busan. And, I'm hoping that more of these coordination, collaboration, and cooperation would actually happen between our 2 countries. Technology now enables us to actually do that quite relatively easy. There is now 3-dimensional representation, both for geography and time flow. And apparently, one of the characteristics of the metaverse, which is quite distinct, is that it is easily modifiable by its inhabitants. There are some other things that are worth discussing, which is the interoperability of elements, the unique identity for each participant and item. It is not abided by the external elements for function. And there's a dedicated economic system for integrated payments in the virtual space. Also, the availability in the market. There's no downtime like normal internet service. Before we fully understand what this new world actually presents, let's first go through the evolution of the web and how this new technology that we are all embracing, and I guess more so in Korea than here in the Philippines, and what basically powers what the metaverse basically presents. So Web.1 is basically green shoots of e-commerce, desktop browser access, dedicated infrastructure. We move on to Web.2, which is technically the emergence of social networks. Mobile first, always on cloud-driven computing. We could now, become very, very agile in terms of where we bring our technology. And then Web.3, which is now more or less anchored on artificial intelligence-driven services, decentralized data architecture, and of course, it won't be possible without edge computing infrastructure. Some of the more pronounced names given this particular timeline are presented in front of your screen, all the way from Netscape to Ocean and Maker and Ethereum. And apparently, this is a very, very lucrative portion of the entire IT or ICT industry. We're looking at almost about 5.9 trillion US dollars all the way to 2025. And I guess there's no bleak future that is in sight for the metaverse. In fact, it just keeps on growing and it keeps on reinventing itself. The evolution leading to the metaverse, just to contextualize everything, is basically for Web.1, it's connected information. Web.2 could be summarized as the social aspect of the evolution. Web.3 is basically people, place, and things, and how they interface with each other. Web.4 is technically the physical meets the digital, which is what this presentation is all about. So it won't be possible to experience everything about the metaverse as we know it now without technologies that actually power this. Well, I remember a few months ago, I was actually teaching in university, and one of the subjects that I had was virtual reality and augmented reality and mixed reality in general. This is one of the aspects of why the metaverse has become really, really attractive, most especially to the younger generation. In fact, it comes with its own sets of challenges. But nevertheless, how we knew it, those born in the 70s and much earlier, how we knew the world is a totally different experience now thanks to virtual reality, augmented reality, and mixed reality. Then we have the infrastructure side, which is 5G and 6G, which now complements the huge demand in terms of reliable and unquestionable speed that would enable people to actually experience all of this. We have, of course, cloud computing and edge computing, which enables us to actually become more efficient in terms of calling particular services and basically transacting. And last but not the least, of course, all the rage, which is blockchain and NFT or non-fungible tokens, which later on, hopefully I could share a little bit of the Philippine experience in terms of this particular technology. So the future of the metaverse is quite diverse. The speaker before me has presented quite a very impressive platform in terms of virtual art galleries and then virtual events such as these. But it seems that every other industry is going to have major touch points with the metaverse, such as buying digital land and constructing virtual homes. And we here now a very huge degree in the Philippines. Shopping in virtual malls, which has contributed to the decline of the retail sector in general, has provided a lot of options for the shopkeepers. And then we have purchasing outfits and accessories for online avatars. There is also the participation in virtual social experience, including very critical exercises, even let's say healthcare or mental health for that matter, which is now relatively the norm thanks to the pandemic as well. Here in the Philippines, we are still slowly transitioning from online learning and going back face to face. I still have children that are studying, and right now the practice of most of the schools here in the Philippines is basically online and offline. So it's asynchronous for 1 week and then face to face for the other. And I guess this is going to continue for quite some time until everybody really becomes comfortable that the virus is really in control. And then there is also interacting with digital humans for onboarding employees, customer service. We here at Spring Valley, more or less, we get talent from all over the country. And before they even go to our physical place of work, all of these activities such as recruitment and interviews are now being performed online. And last but not the least, buying digital art, collectibles, and assets, which more or less is described as non-fungible tokens or NFTs. So again, a little bit on the utilization of the metaverse. We use this for social gatherings. We use this for monetization. Of course, one of the biggest activities that we could see within the realm of the metaverse is really blockchain gaming. And of course, it enables us now to build a business, most especially since this is the age of e-commerce. Everything here in my country that used to be offline is now trying to slowly transition into online. And I guess, it takes a major global pandemic for us to realize that this digital transformation is going to happen in one form or the other. It would also produce income via content creation, which is now what is being utilized by those in the NFT space. And obviously, virtual learning has been around for quite some time, but is now slowly becoming the norm for most learning institutions. Even Western, very traditional and conservative Western universities and colleges have now opened up portals for anyone in the world to actually partake of the education that they could offer. And then there are various recreational activities. It's everyone's playground now. Performing various recreational activities is possible in the virtual world, and this now comes without or very limited obstacles. But just like anything or any other technology in the world, there are advantages and there are disadvantages. The advantage that we could see here is that we could now there's a protected space for certain people, most especially the younger generation. It allows people with people with mental disorders to address fears by letting them experience what they couldn't in reality. Now, on the opposite side, we could now also see there's a huge addiction to virtual settings, most especially for the much younger generation was really born into this particular technology. Provides a very immersive experience. Storytelling and product presentation has never been easier in my entire professional life. However, on the flip side, there is also some issues in terms of isolation, and this results to a decrease in physical activity. The Department of Education, as well as the Commission on Higher Education here in the Philippines, is now contemplating bringing back what we call the Reserve Officers Training in universities and colleges, primarily to increase the lack of physical activity, most especially for the younger folks. It optimizes social media platforms, providing more advanced features and better connectivity. However, on the other side, it also presents mental fatigue or lack of focus. Virtual job touchpoints is also one major aspect, most especially for companies within the IT and BPO space here in the country, of which the Philippines is quite known for. So from interview, operations, and coaching, it could now all be done online. And this is now being practiced by a great majority of even the Philippine Software Industry Association members. Now, what the downside is that it basically also requires quite an intense infrastructure on the part of employers and companies. Now, another pro that we could see, and one of the things that we're currently working on as a startup, is really an e-commerce platform that is really dedicated to people with disabilities. Indeed, the Metaverse has more or less leveled the playing field in terms of those that have very limited operations or movement. For those of you who have seen the latest, one of the latest issues of CNN Philippines, this is in the life and leisure section. One of the cover stories there is why Filipino creatives are divided over NFTs. So some artists and creative folks here in my country are basically saying, we would want to take advantage of this new development in technology, while the other half is basically sticking to the traditional. And apparently, the metaverse itself, with all its moving parts, has created quite a huge ripple effect here in the Philippines. In fact, if you could see one of the headlines of CNBC, it was highlighted that people in the Philippines are earning cryptocurrency during the pandemic by playing a video game. And this was very huge. In fact, in a matter of months, the take-up was in the millions. Just for everyone's context, there's about 110 population here in the country. And most of them are actually on the much younger side. And apparently, during the pandemic, when everybody was locked down, and the Philippines has had a dubious distinction of being the country with the longest lockdown period, a lot of people found solace and apparently even revenue in terms of playing all of these games within the metaverse. Now, again, there also has to be some caution that needs to be applied. One of the latest issues of Time magazine is basically calling out also a crypto game promise to lift Filipinos out of poverty, but unfortunately, the other thing happened. So a lot of people lost money. The interest right now in my country is slowly declining in terms of crypto gaming because of the recent experience of people basically losing their own savings. And, it's a sad story, which basically brings us to this particular saying that we must learn to balance the material wonders of technology with the spiritual demands of the human race. And I guess it's quite important for us to put this into perspective as we now try to discover a lot of possibilities that the metaverse could now offer. I would like to close my presentation with this. The future is happening fast. And, Charles Darwin said it's not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent. It is the one that is most adaptable to change. This change is happening at a very fast pace. And the metaverse is one of the major changes that we need to embrace. But in order for us to actually survive and properly use these technologies that are coming out, we need more communication, we need more coordination, we need more collaboration, and we need more cooperation. I'm looking forward to discussing more possibilities between BIPA, between Korea, and the Philippine Software Industry Association, as well as the entire Republic of the Philippines. With that, I would like to say thank you very much, or as we say here in the Philippines, maraming salamat.
Thank you so much. And now we would like to begin the Q&A session, and we would like to open up the floor. 네, 발표 잘 들었습니다. 지금부터는
From now on, for those of you who have questions, please raise your hand. We can receive one question due to time limit. As there is no question from the floor, this is the end of first presentation of session 2.
the floor, we'd like to conclude your presentation right here. Once again, thank you for joining us in real time. 고맙습니다. 이어서는 두 번째 세션의
Thank you. Moving on, we'll have the second presentation from the section 2. And he is Dr. Don Quang Quang from VNU University, and he will present on the Metaverse from the perspective of education, centering on the case of Vietnam. Please welcome him with a big round of applause.
Yes. So good morning, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests. So I'm very happy to be here to introduce some of our perspectives in using Metaverse in learning in Vietnam. So from previous presentation, I have myself learned many interesting ideas about using Metaverse in our daily life. But unfortunately, there is a little that we mentioned about education. So my talk will focus on where we are now and how we can move onward toward to 2030 in Vietnam education with your support. Thank you for Piper to organize this very interesting and helpful event. So in the day life learning in Vietnam, we now do very successful, I could say that, digital transformation in education, but we have also to face many obstacles, of course, with potential opportunities to use Metaverse in education, in daily life, teaching, learning, and school management tasks. So, Vietnam is a very large country with up to 100 million population. We have up to 22 million students, up to 1,500,000 teachers and managers which are working in education area. We have very large, complex network of school, and every year we spend a lot for educational technologies. Although in our daily life, teaching and learning school process, we implement e-learning, digital resources, digital tools for teaching and learning achievement as well for students and managers. But in the near future, we have to implement and collaborate with many companies as well education institutions over the world. Now, in every lessons, we implement AI technology blockchain, big data, or further LMS platforms. But in terms of how to use VR, AR, XR, or Metaverse, we have also very big gap. I think in the near future, Metaverse maybe convert in every classroom, every lesson. That's why we have to promote adaptive learning, personalized learning, and by using Metaverse, we can help students to be immersive, seamless, and adaptive more and more in the virtual or integrate XR environment. So for this digital successful process, we need integrate, collaborate with many enterprises, education enterprises as well inside Vietnam and outside Vietnam also. The market side, I could say, in education technology is very promising. By statistics, the education technology plays very important role in digital society, digital economy now in Vietnam. As you know, we spent maybe 5% of GDP to develop digital economy, and in which around between 2 and 3 percentage of GDP will spend for digital education technology. And at the present, we also developed the education technology village network, and also we have up to 700 enterprises, education technology, and market size is very promising, but mostly digital resources are focused on foreign languages training and some testing platform. So I think we can now focus on the digital resources, digital content. For instance, I have learned a lot and developed some idea from the previous presentation about the Hue Innocent Imperial City digital platform. We can use this product to develop each content in the lessons, for instance, for history, for geography, or integrated STEM. And from this, we may create an ecosystem for education. I mean the output from enterprises, digital enterprises, we can use as the input for digital education in Vietnam, and we can use this very big potential for further digital education also. Here I wanted to introduce some very humble, successful, preliminary successful outputs when one Korean company implement the idea of using VR, AR, and in the near future, I do hope that Metaverse or XR and Metaverse in education. This is implementation for primary school, but as we observed, our students are very, very interesting, and they are embedded in the digital environment. They realize the potential for development activities, including motor skill. It's very interesting. And some statistics, you can see the effectiveness when we implement VR, AR, and Metaverse in lesson. So you may see some statistics on screen. And in the near future, we can see the very strong process toward digital transformation in education, because our students will use some equipment, digital equipment, with new ideas, new approaches to develop the competencies, including digital competence. They will learn by themselves, by their own motivation, by their own interesting, and I think the most important we can develop from this, their own value for the next generation. We call the generational alpha, after generation Z. According to some statistic and observation, the generation alpha in Vietnam will take around 20% of population in the near future in Vietnam toward 2045. So we can see from this very big area for investment, area of education development, and area of metaverse development integrated, embedded in education in Vietnam in the near future. So in the academic focus, we see metaverse will play very important role to develop e-learning, next generation of e-learning toward the society, digital society, learning society. And something I would add to this small talk, with metaverse, we can transfer each family toward learning community, each classroom, digital world, digital society, and each student in the near future, creative citizen, digital citizen, and of course, international citizens in the near future. So thank you for listening.
네, 고맙습니다.
Thank you very much.
And now we'd like to go to the Q&A session. 네, 이어서 질의응답.
Now we will take questions. If you have any questions, please raise your hand from the floor. If not, then we will close the presentation. Thank you very much. Please give him a big round of applause.
고맙습니다.
Thank you. We had the second presentation of session 2, and the third presentation will be given by a Vietnamese speaker. We have Chief of Education and Training Ba Dinh District of Hanoi, Duc Thanh, and he will present about digital transformation in education, online teaching model for schools. He's on stage. Please give him a big round of applause.
Ladies and gentlemen, today I will talk about digital transformation in education and training in Vietnam. This presentation mainly mentions the situation of digital transformation in Vietnam education in the context of the COVID-19 pandemic. Vietnam is a developing country with GDP in 2021 reached about $368 billion and population of 96 million people. Vietnamese people have a tradition of being studious, and young people in general love technology and want to know more things around Metaverse. Vietnam has been developing a huge database system of our education and training sector, containing about 24 million students and 1.4 million teachers. Because of developing country, digital transformation in Vietnam is also lagging behind developed countries like Western countries, Japan, Korea, Singapore, and Israel. Since 2007, a few universities has implemented credit training, allow learners to register for study, view their study results, and pay tuition fee online. The registration for high school exam and online admission, school administration operation, and also digitized and implemented on the basic of IT application. In 2018, the Ministry of Education and Training put into use a nationwide database on education with about 53,000 schools, 710 education and training departments, nearly 22 million students, and more than 1.5 million teachers with identifies. Information of 393 universities and colleges with 2.5 million students and 120,000 lecturers is also updated on the industry database system. The development of digital learning material is also focused on by Ministry of Education and Training. During the COVID-19 pandemic, with the motto, "Post going to school, don't stop learning," more than 80% of school and 240 training institutions organize online teaching and learning. The COVID-19 pandemic is both challenging but also great opportunity for the digital transformation process in general and the digital transformation in the education sector in particular. About opportunity, the digital transformation process is conducted faster and more synchronous at all levels of management, teachers, and students. Learning opportunity in the digital environment are not limited to just one school. The transition in education will bring about diversity in teaching methods. I want to talk about Bading district. I work as a director of Bading Education and Training Department. Bading is one of the 4 original urban districts in Hanoi, the capital city in Vietnam. Bading is the political center of Vietnam. Most of government offices and embassies are located here. The education and training sector in Bading district consists of 75 schools at all levels of kindergarten, primary and secondary schools, about 60,000 students and 4,000 teachers. Over the past years, Bading District Education has actively implemented and applied IT in management, teaching and testing. Bading Education achieved a number of achievements, built a number of databases on education and training to serve information in educational management, approaching ecosystem, the education sector of Metaverse. Bading Education as a leading in digital transformation in Hanoi, Vietnam, using operational management software, investing in school, building STEM-oriented classroom, building smart school, identify foreign language education, mathematics, STEM. The Metaverse is the key to creating global citizens. Along with the leadership and effort of a leader, administrator, and teacher of entire education sector in Bading District, in the past 4 years, the ranking of Bading District Education had increased from 17 to 12 to 6, and finally to rank 3rd out of 30 of Hanoi District. In order to promote and effective implement digital transformation in education and training to catch up with the 4.0 revolution, Vietnam education sector lead to focus on implementing 4 basic issues. First, developing a relational data system on education and training, develop and exploit the system of learning material and digital learning environment. Third, building and implementing a digital competency framework for school students. And last one, develop highly qualified human resource in the field of information technology and digital transformation. So this is my presentation. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And due to limited time, we will have questions from the floor online. So thank you and please return to your seat. 네, 여러분, 저희 시간 관계상 질문은 온라인으로.
So we will receive the questions online through our homepage. Please give him a big round of applause.
네, 이어서는
Moving on, then presentation number 4 for the session 2 from Roomin Corporation, Sarina Ziziumiza, the CEO or the president, will present on the opportunities and the future of the metaverse industry. Please welcome her with a big round of applause.
Greetings to everyone. Myself, I'm Sarina, co-founder of Roomin Corporation and senior technical instructor as well as research officer from IBTE. So today, I will be presenting on the challenges, opportunities, and future of work for the Metaverse digital transformation. So one of the central aspects of the Metaverse is creating digital avatar of oneself to express our emotion and feelings in an unconventional way which allows the customization, gamification, leading to an interactive and immersive experience. So for the past few decades, cyber threats have remained one of the biggest challenges for companies around the world, especially about ethics and privacy within the ecosystem. So when we think of the Metaverse, we think of the VR headsets, which actually teleport us to the world of infinite interactive space. But that's just one of the ways to get into the virtual universe. Technologies such as smartphones, tablets, PC, and laptops also act as an access point to the Metaverse. Although it is important to talk about human interface devices, it is equally pivotal to highlight the infrastructure that will help us stay connected with the Metaverse. So here's a video of the application of Metaverse technology.
We're gonna have an astrophysicist in the family.
Actually, I have to write this paper. Will you help me?
Let's take a closer look. What part of the solar system are we talking about?
Saturn.
If you were taking astrophysics, you could study in the Metaverse.
Did you know the rings are made up of billions of icy particles?
Really?
Look at this.
You ready to do that paper now, right?
Yeah.
In the Metaverse, you'll be able to teleport not just to any place, but any time as well. Ancient Rome. Imagine standing on the streets, hearing the sounds, visiting the markets, to get a sense of the rhythm of life over 2,000 years ago. Imagine learning how the Forum was built by actually seeing the Forum get built right in front of you.
So some of the characteristics that define a Metaverse include boundless and endless space where there are no limits to how many people can use it, and at the same time, what are the types of activities that can take place and what industry can enter it. Persistent. A Metaverse cannot be unplugged, reboot, or reused. Users can join the Metaverse freely at any time from anywhere in the world and allowing continuity in their experience. Decentralized. The Metaverse isn't owned by a corporation or a single entity or platform, but by all of its users, who can also take control over their private data. Immersiveness. Users are able to enter a new level of immersion and interactivity, where all the human senses are more fully engaged, so users feel more present in their experiences. Virtual economy. Metaverse participants can engage in decentralized virtual economy powered by the cryptocurrency that includes the marketplaces where users can buy, sell, or exchange items. Social experiences. Every participant in a virtual world takes place in the core experiences and help co-create the future of the Metaverse through user-generated content. In the case for change, the opportunity has yet to be discovered. Due to several issues and challenges, this is because they need to have digital-first mindset and higher digital technology required to build a more supportive ecosystem for local enterprise to digitalize. Need better deployment in terms of quality broadband and digital technology infrastructure. Prepared a future-ready workforce. Need gap closure of digital divide and build trust and ethics in using the data and technology as well as increasing the awareness on cybersecurity. With Metaverse, it helps in taking the learning and discovery to a new level. People will be able to learn by doing and not just passively absorbing information, and this dive into the new topics and experiences, deepening their knowledge. As such, the way of learning and training will need to be developed further in order to meet the needs of the future. So one of the major issues of Metaverse is on privacy. Besides the collection of information, there's also a concern in terms of possible leaks and possible interception of data by third parties. It can also give rise on self-esteem issue, as the virtual environment is exposed and people become acknowledged as to become an idealized, perfect version of themselves. There are also issues on harassment, where aggressive behavior from people as they feel protected by the anonymity and distance offered the virtual environment. The spread of fake news and the popularization of conspiracy theory can also appear in the metaverse. If not properly regulated, the metaverse can also act as a no man's land to be exploited by the criminals. When it comes to the metaverse, the first thing that comes to mind is Generation MZ, which refers to both millennials and Generation Z. The term Generation MZ actually coined from these two groups. So in terms of the manpower, they are actually the key players. The first thing that can be used to tackle the generational conflicts is the smartphone. Everyone is using it whether to chat, reading articles, or watch videos. Another key important factor is AI that will be used as the digital humans. So digital humans will act as secretaries that could tackle the generation conflict as we get older. As digital humans and AI develop, all jobs in the everyday world will disappear. Jobs related to metaverse will take a center stage. As such, content creator will emerge as a promising job in the future. So as for the importance of metaverse could be the next internet. Also, this points in one direction. Okay? The metaverse could be the next major online destination where all the global users can engage, buy, sell, play, and work. Okay? Allow increased communication for work and collaboration. And with the new normal, VR will be an important enabler as it helps in workers to transition to hybrid work and ensure that the remote employees enjoy the same degree of engagement. New jobs will also be created, so there will be new revenue stream and business model. Facebook even have announced that it would create 10,000 new jobs in Europe alone to build its vision for the metaverse. Just like tech giants now dominate the global conversation around user privacy, data rights, cybercrime, and regulation, the metaverse could be the next minefield. With the metaverse technology, it creates a digital world that's full of possibility. This includes marketing, as it attracts global customers and builds brand digital identity by offering new type of experiences. Virtual possession, where consumer begins to attribute high value to the digital possession, encourages new business model. Liminal spaces, which integrate both virtual and physical experiences, will become even more evident in a hybrid mode of events and venues. As the metaverse develops, there's going to be an increase in in-game advertising with brands creating branded presences in games like, example, Fortnite and Roblox, both of which showcase the metaverse elements. A digital twin is essentially a digital replica of an object found in the physical world, so it allows the creator to offer more unique experiences that are unlikely to happen in real life. In the metaverse, machine intelligence will be integrated into the others' metagrams, creating a richer and more borderless technology. Blockchain technology enables more individuals and applications to create more smart contracts that pave the way for decentralized application. Okay. So here are some of the examples for the metaverse technology. With Facebook Horizon Workroom, you can enter and experience a virtual reality office as personally designed avatar. In the workroom, you can see your computer screen, keyboard, interact with your coworkers, brainstorm, and even give presentation in the same way you would be as in in-person meeting room. Okay. So Horizon World is a free VR online video game for social experiences where users can explore the virtual world. So here, users can create their own avatar and design their virtual world. So they can also connect with people globally, so they can browse other worlds and discover endless possibilities. Okay. Decentraland is a VR platform powered by the Ethereum blockchain. It allows users to create, experience, and monetize content and application. It relies on users owning the NFT in the form of land, which they can design and offer it in the way they want to. They can also style their own avatar, and of course, by using NFT. Okay. Sandbox is another virtual game that is connected to the Ethereum blockchain, similar to the Decentraland. The highest NFT sold in the Sandbox is the Metaflower Super Mega Yacht, which was sold for a whopping $650,000 US. Even digital fashion is on the rise. Fashion designers is marketing their digital collection to the millions of gamers worldwide who would buy accessory, clothing, and skin for digital avatar. Last year, Ralph Lauren collaborated with the global gaming platform, Roblox, with the purpose that people will buy the virtual outfit to dress up their avatar as to replicate themselves in real life. Other companies like Nike, Adidas, and Vans are now saying that there's more room for even more growth. Even virtual concerts taking place within the metaverse are the next step in terms of the evolution of the music industry. In the metaverse, artists can perform live anywhere in the world as people attend their concerts at the comfort of their own home. Some of the big names have actually performed in virtual concerts. Around 78 million of Fortnite users attended the Grande show, with some commentators speculating that she was set to earn over 20 million US dollar from the virtual gig. In the metaverse, virtual humans are no longer bound by physical limitation. Okay. So next is the case studies of XR technology of the Rumin Corporation in Brunei.
AR or VR technology is changing the way people learn and train. Rumin Corporation is a Brunei tech startup company with experience in AR, VR, and applied games. We develop solutions for industry with innovative technological solutions. We strive to advance communication experiences, enable digital transformation, and redefine human interaction. TechSim, making training easier for everyone, anytime, and anywhere, was founded in 2020. TechSim is the leading provider of VR training for essential skilled traders. We develop scalable, highly effective digital training for the HVAC, mechanical, and safety. For decades, the workforce skills gap has been a growing problem, with an estimate of more than 2 million essential skilled trades positions opening from 2018 to 2028. It's time to build our own workforce in a new way. At TechSim, we're revolutionizing how training works with our blended learning platform. Virtual training attracts the new generation of workers and can efficiently train hundreds of skilled workers to be job ready at the same time. Its online on-demand catalogs are filled with variety of courses available, including lifelike in the field scenarios with interactive VR and 3D simulations. Virtual training enables people to learn hands-on skill in a safer, more engaging environment and provides a deeper level of instruction than reading manuals or watching videos. TechSim is helping to create a workforce that is more confident, highly skilled, and job-ready in just a few weeks, not years. TechSim can be used by numerous companies to train their skilled workers. TechSim is committed to building better careers and better lives for all essential workers. The technology that can help this problem is VR simulation training, which uses virtual reality and embedded software. Embedded software allows the gesture recognition to input value in the VR system. Our application of technology will help increase the potential of training, resulting in more effective industries in the future. Features of the training include panoramic 360 view, gesture recognition, interaction detection, and hands-on.
So I tried the virtual reality training. So I think it's a good tool for the training for our technician in the future.
Since we first started, we have achieved several awards and recognition locally and globally. The virtual training engages learners, give immersive experience, and help solve problems. Partner with Rumin Corporation to bring expert VR training experiences to your organization.
So with Industrial Revolution 4.0, things will change at a fast pace. Every year, there will be new development, technology, and machinery that we need to use and adapt. However, most realize that they need to upgrade, retrain, and assess their skills to remain relevant in the industry. For the future, Metaverse technology has a lot to offer and has great potential for the market, especially in terms of visualization and commercialization as a one-stop platform for marketing, nurture the multiple expert of skills and talent, collaboration of users from major industry and sharing of digital content, verification of standard operating procedures, and international standard for benchmarking, accessibility with cloud SaaS platform, allow data management system and storage, Overall, this helped build the experiences to build a better future ecosystem for all. XR support the body tracking and recognition where we don't need to use a controller, provide interactive content, automated guidance, and instruction to give consistent results safely. So here is actually a demonstration of a real training. And in terms of the Metaverse technology, it's a wide-ranging and transformative. It influenced several key players, such as society, by providing new job opportunities for digitally skilled workers. New business models offer new products and services as traditional practice are replaced with digital technology and improve the scope of quality of public services delivered by government. Okay. And then that is all. Thank you.
네, 고맙습니다. 자리로.
Thank you very much.
네, 조금 전에 진행했던 것처럼
As mentioned, due to time limit, we will receive questions through email. You can find the contact info on our website. Thank you. We will have the fifth presentation of today. The speaker from National Electronics and Computer Technology Center couldn't participate due to his health issue. Please understand. And moving on, we will have the sixth speaker.
He's from Thailand. He is joining from Digital Economy Promotion Agency. Dr. Nanakara Praskopul will present on the Metaverse and the smart cities about the convergence, well-being, and exponential growth. That is the title of his presentation. Please welcome him with a big round of applause as we walk up to the stage.
Good morning. It's great to be here. As always, I like physical events more than online events. I remember last year that I attended this event. It was online. It was fun, but definitely not as fun as this time. So today, I'd like to talk about a few things that are very close to my heart and even closer to my organization's heart, which is the ideas of digital economy and society as a way to push forward and drive the economy in Thailand. First of all, let me talk about myself a little bit. So my name is Nan. Just forget about my last name. That's why I put the A up there. And sorry about my hair today. I didn't do well this morning. Our agency, Digital Economy Promotion Agency of Thailand, has been working really hard for the past 5 years since our inception in order to create the kinds of environment and ecosystems that drive and change the way in which we live, work, and play, and probably learn as well as one of the dimensions and factors in which we wanted to operate our life. So today, I want to talk about the Metaverse and the idea of smart cities. So as I mentioned a little bit earlier already, the idea of digital economy coincides really well with the idea of smart cities. So what exactly is a smart cities? It is an idea that comes about when we start to look at what happened in the world today, such as the ideas that we are living in the urban era, which means that more than half of the world's populations are living in the cities, and the number is counting and increasing as we probe. So the urban is great. The urban is a place for innovation, it's a place for new ideas, and a place for all kinds of great simulations and thoughts. But on the other hand, cities generated all kinds of problems, like global waste, like energy consumptions of non-renewable stuff, and eventually the congestions, accidents, and all kinds of greenhouse gas emissions as a result of us living together in the urban and therefore in a very dense environment. And because of that, we need a smarter urban environment in order to incubate human beings who will be much more productive in what they do if they are to be living in the places they can breathe clean air, they can drink uncontaminated water, and of course living in the conditions that they can live, learn, work, and play efficiently. So Thailand has this idea called Thailand 4.0, which is a digital Thailand agenda-based program to, first of all, we wanted to distribute income equally across the board, and we also wanted to generate more economic activities by way of digital incentives. And because of that, we need an area-based productivities that come from below, and that which we call smart cities. Smart cities is very individualized because each of the cities have different way of thinking about how they wanted to use their resources. In a few minutes, you'll be hearing from the mayor of Nakhon Si Thammarat, who'll be talking about what Nakhon Si Thammarat is doing in terms of how they want to create its own version of smart cities. Each of the cities have their own understandings of how they wanted to create it. And for us, Smart cities have three key principles. First of all, the KPIs or key performance indicator for smart cities is never the technology. It's not the number of sensors, it's not the number of technologies used, but the well-being. If you use just one sensor, but the cities get better, there will be fewer accidents, less cardiovascular disease that have to get people admitted to the hospitals, that's smarter. So it's not about technology per se, it's really about human centricity, and that leads to how we choose the purposeful technology to solve and mitigate problems. And then we have this 4P model. You might have heard of the 3P, the public-private partnership. We take it one more step further to add one more P, which is P for the people. We believe, as I mentioned in the first principle, that if people are at the core, then we can build the ideas of smart cities around that people-centric city. We can build the use of public resources, and we can bring in private enterprises that have the understanding of market mechanism to foster a better, smarter development. And eventually, we believe in data. Data is a new oil, data is a new gold. With the data, we can actually make better decisions, and with better decisions, we can make city much more livable. And with these three principles, we concluded a little bit here that smart cities for us in Thailand is not a philosophy, it's not a paradigm, it's not a mindset, but a tool. What I mean here is that we need a tool when we have a problem. If we only have one tool, for instance, like a hammer, every problem would be a nail. If you don't want that. We want people to be able to use the right tool for the right jobs and for the right tasks. So smart cities, we have 7 dimensions, as if we have 7 tools. We have the tools of smart environment, we have the tools of smart economy, smart energy, smart living, smart people, and of course, smart governance. These are the toolboxes that we use in order to solve problems. And it has to be techno-social, because we believe that wholeheartedly, technology can actually help solving problems in the world. And we've been doing that for generations. So let's get right into the cases where we think Metaverse can actually be helpful. So the beginning of the year, this year, we attended and participated in one of the largest hackathons in the world that took place in Dubai during the Expo 2020. And we happened to win the first prize. We were surprised a little bit because we were government agencies. We didn't expect us to be winning. We thought we could participate and learn more from the hackathon. But we won. So let's talk about why we won. Well, first of all, our agenda is clear. We believe that we can create a solution for Southeast Asia as a whole, not just for Thailand. Of course, the tropics is always prone to flooding, so we need an automated water infrastructure that can actually put flooding to be a thing of the past. The World Bank has estimated that what happened in Thailand a few years ago, I wasn't in Thailand at the time, but I remember looking from the news that people suffer, and the loss in terms of economics was massive, as you can see here, $46.5 billion US, massive loss. A few things to think about here. First of all, is flooding natural thing? Well, there are natural conditions of flooding. First of all, you have a rising sea level, that's natural. You have a sinking soil mechanics, that's natural. But then there are a number of components that's not natural, like the lack of interoperability between the agencies and departments in the government. You have the lack of the digitized and automated working on the operations of the infrastructure, and you have a few things that are pretty much man-made. So for us, we believe that we can end the problem of flooding if we can actually tweak the infrastructure, we can tweak the way in which we look at digital technology, and that is our solutions. So at the end, if we propose the ideas of using a number of IoT devices to control all the water infrastructure in the cities, and we believe in the ideas that if we connect all the devices together, and as you can see here, Bangkok is pretty big, and it has all kinds of crisscrossing waterways across the board. In fact, Thailand in Bangkok many years ago was called Venice of the East for some reasons. And because of that, if we can connect 573 sensors, 191 stations, 242 water gates, and that control thousands of kilometers of waterways, we might be able to decrease latencies of information sent to gates and sensors, and therefore we can open and close them more timely. And in that, we believe that we can make the water flow to the right directions, we can stop the flooding, we can put the pumps in the right place because everything is interoperable, and of course everything is fast, and of course very, very efficient. So the ideas that we have is to create this so-called hydro-intelligence intelligence platform. Hydro because it's about water. Intelligence because we believe that intelligence is a good name because it means both data and smartness. If we can optimize the control of these water gates, we create a digital twins, which is in the domain of Metaverse as we speak today. And of course, we can foster social engagement by getting people to feel trusting of the kinds of things they are getting in terms of technology that work in the background in order to fit the KPI of livability. So what we do here is quite simple. We collect data using the NB-IoT, LoRa, and a few other mechanics to collect the different types of data. For instance, water level, speed of water, water flow, water contamination levels, and that will be sent to the platform that we call hydrogens in order to analyze in real time in the cloud, and that will send a quick latency with automated vehicles in order to make sure that all the water infrastructure are able to be operated in real time. And we believe that the decrease of latency that used to be done by manual operations can actually help in terms of getting the water to flow to the right directions. And if you think about water supply and waterways in cities, it's pretty much synonymous, if not completely analogous, to the kinds of things we have in our brain, right? We have neurons in the brain, billions of them. We don't want neurotransmitters to come out at the same time. We want melatonin when we sleep. We want serotonin when we awake. So it's the same thing. We don't want water gates to be open all the time. So we don't want the water pumps to be off when it doesn't have to be off. Things like that is the kinds of mechanics that we put together in order to operate and create the algorithm for a very, very good and sophisticated platform for digital analytics in real time. So what happened is that we simulated this in digital twin, and this is when Metaverse comes in, because it's just a great tool to see how it works. We created the geographic environment in the Metaverse, that we call it digital twins, and we tested it, whether or not if we have the right tools and the right time and the right fleets to be solving problems with pumps and other things that we use as in terms of infrastructure, we might be able to decrease we might be able to increase the capacities of water infrastructure and decrease the latencies in terms of problem solving. So if we look at this, we tested our systems in the Metaverse to see whether or not we can actually get the water to disappear within the course of 1.5 hours. And in fact, that happens, so we were pretty happy about it. The case 2, it's about natural disasters. So we talk about the cases not all natural, which is the flooding. Now let's talk about something that is completely natural, like tsunami or disaster that comes from the water. For instance, what took place almost 20 years ago was a big earthquake that took place in the Pacific and therefore created a huge tsunami that kills many, many people in Southeast Asia. This is natural. But we might be able to mitigate this as well if we understand the patterns of how this could help people navigate their way out of the situations. So when things like this happen, we have to factor in all kinds of components that leads to the ability for people to move away from where the problem persists. So this research actually was done by my colleague, PhD candidate, Nattapon Thammikabawan at the Asian Institute of Technology, who've done a very interesting research on modeling. So he modeled different types of infrastructure, different types of paths, and he also factored in human behavior. Because when it comes to natural disaster, people don't always act logical. People don't always do things rationally. So what his research has shown here is that if we map out the path for evacuations clearly, we can simulate the evacuations in the Metaverse so that people can actually test out whether or not they'll be able to run away from this disaster before it actually hits them in real time. And so let's take a look at what the team has done so far. So when things happen, people need to be able to navigate themselves out of the crisis. And if they've never done it before, the chances they're going to be panicked, they're going to be very excited about what's going on, and they might not even run to the right directions. Yesterday, I was walking along the Haeundae Beach with my colleagues, and we saw the evacuation map of Busan, which is really great in terms of even if tsunami hits, people can actually run away if people know exactly which path to follow. So the point here is to simulate the situations so that people have the experience of how to run away. They know exactly what would be the the speed of the cars that are going to be in front of them. They know exactly what the signage to look for, the path and the locations of the shelter that would prevent them from having to deal with the disaster outright. And we believe that this is a good way of simulating experiences that hasn't happened yet, but will be really helpful and useful to efficiently and effectively, as well as productively, prevent people from having to face a lot of calamity. So my conclusion is following. First of all, Metaverse could be a game, but it's not a game. It could be something that is life-saving, life-changing, and of course, economically viable and feasible. So let's turn Metaverse into something more than game. Let's use game mechanics to make Metaverse much more interesting to use. Let's use the game mechanic to allow the Metaverse to play a role in how we live better. Second of all, we believe that immersive experience, as we learned from the colleagues in the morning, is such an important role to play in the way in which we invent and innovate new ideas. So simulation will be a key for just about everything. And which leads to my third point, which is the ideas that the digital twins, which I shown you here in the first case, could be something that can become very commonplace if it can be commercialized, and everybody can have digital twins. Digital twins of a city, digital twins of a school, digital twins of an agency, digital twin of a person. Yeah, I can actually have my own digital twins. I can have my vital signs put in the systems. So for a long period of time, I can collect those data and predict whether or not I will have certain kind of diseases. And that's what we're going to be calling them, digital twins as a service. Just like mobility as a service, just like all kinds of everything as a service that we have today. It will become a norm with the technology and the innovations that comes from within. And fourth point, and my last point, is that we believe wholeheartedly as Metaverse isn't a game, Metaverse use simulations wisely, and Metaverse is about digital twins that allow us to see and experience this thing before time so that we can actually face them in reality more efficiently. Therefore, the public can really benefit from the Metaverse through the concept of how we might be able to have smarter cities. So I congratulate all of you to be here today, both here in Busan and of course at home via YouTube. I have been excited to look at some of the great presentations, and the booklet is full of information that I'm going to be digesting over the next few days. Thank you so much. My email's up here. Please feel free to contact us. We cannot wait to make the world a better place with you together. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Please return to your seat. Thank you very much. 네, 논 박사님 발표 잘.
Thank you for your presentation. He mentioned that Metaverse is not just a game, and the third presenter recommended ways to apply Metaverse and smart city together. Next speaker is from KMITL, Vice President Luchani Gilayan. The speaker will talk about Metaverse and digital reality in industries, focusing on Thailand case study. The speaker is here with us. Please give her a big round of applause.
Thank you very much for the introduction, and good morning, everyone. As we all know, we are heading into the complete digital world today, and many of us, or every one of us today, are actually living together with these smart systems. Everything around us are getting smarter. Everything around us, we starting to have to interact with each other. And that's the reason why we are looking at the technologies today, augmented reality, virtual reality, or even extended reality. These are all the technologies that built behind the backbones of the metaverse or the digital twin. And why is that? Because human like us, we want to be able to live with the data, with the systems that's all around us. And this is one of the reasons why over in Thailand, we are looking at the solutions for metaverse or digital twins. There are demands from industries from 3 or 4 years ago that required various type of solutions that implemented to help training, to help educating people in the industries, or even helping the operations or the maintenance in the industries to be a little bit easier. However, we are running into some challenges in the country ourselves because the technologies that exist within the countries are not quite there. And we also are lack of the number of the experts and the workforce in the industries to help, because these are people who actually have to know a lot about not just the augmented or virtual realities, but also in terms of the communications, 5G, 6Gs, artificial intelligence, and also IoT sensors. So here comes the reason why we are creating this, what we call the Interactive Digital Center at the university. So this is the first comprehensive digital design center in Thailand, and we want to be able to enforce some of the challenges that we are currently facing in the country. So number one, when the customers or industries wants a certain solutions, we don't really know if the smartphones are sufficient enough for the solution, or should we go with the HMD, the head-mounted devices, the VR glasses, or should we go with the MR glasses? Or even nowadays, we have the full body suits that actually can interact with you in the simultaneous whole body experience. So what would be the best solution? Bigger not always be the best. So we create this playground area so our customers or potential users can actually come and experience and see what are the best solutions for their applications. And then the second part of this design center, we are actually doing the R&D. We do have collaborated with companies worldwide, researchers at the King Mongkut, I'll call it KMITL for short, also with the researchers global-wide that we have partners with. And we are collaborating to develop solutions research with focusing on defense technology, healthcare, education, Industry 4.0, and also the smart city aspect. And the last part that, of course, we cannot forget is if we want to make this a comprehensive design center, we cannot help but to be able to create more workforce for the country or even for the region per se. We talked to a couple of our partners in the ASEAN area, and we all agree with the same thing. We are lack of the workforce. So people who are experts in graphic designers, animations, or even computer graphics, AI, or even IIoT hardware related issues. So engineers and designers are what we are really looking for in terms of creating the workforce for Thailand and the ASEAN area. So that's the comprehensive what the research center are actually currently working on. But for in terms of the research projects that we are currently working on, there's one that I will showcase today and share with you, and it's the Smart City Digital Twin platform that we are joint collaborated with a couple of the universities, with industry companies, and also with the local area, okay? And this is the general digital platform that we are created for a showcase and the demo for the national, with the idea that if we are thinking about the digital twin of a smart city in the future, anywhere you go, you can actually have access to your digital twin within your grasp of smartphones or tablets or computers. So why not having all areas of our pilot areas showcase or even demo at one of the center over at KMITL? And the pilot area that we are currently working on, there are 5 main areas. And we chose this strategically because we want to highlight a couple of the main uniqueness of Thai cities. So there are Sukhothai. So this consists of one of the World Heritage sites. So we can actually focus on the tourism on that part. And then we also have Bangkok area, which we also have the commercial side in Siam Square, and also Klong Padung Kasem. So that's almost like a Venice in Bangkok, and That's not for the flood purposes, but for the tourism purposes. And then we also have Nakhon Sawan. So this is a very typical suburban area of Bangkok or Thailand. And then also down south, we also have Krabi. So this is by the beach where tourism or the natural in tourism are actually one of the key highlights for this. And these are the 5 main areas that I just mentioned. So each one of them are selected and we have to incorporate. One thing that we realize is in terms of creating these kind of projects, it's not just what the industry wants or not what the researcher wants, but we also have to interview with the governors and the mayors of these local areas to see what they actually want. COVID-19 has impacted them more or less. And one thing that they all have in common is with these smart city digital twin, how can we make our life a little bit better, create the economy back up for the people within the city, and what if there's another cause of pandemics happen again where the traveling and the logistics becomes the issue, how can we actually help with that? And within the platform itself, based on what we interview and talk to the 5 areas mayors and governors, we have concluded that we are going to create or develop. We are currently working on 4 different features that are within the platform. The number 1 would be the tourism, and this is one of the big key highlight for Thailand. So tourism within the virtual reality aspect, we can go in and actually experience how it would be like 200 years ago. If any one of us had been to Thailand, even myself, I've realized there are way too many temples in Thailand. Everywhere we go, there are temples. But temples are actually a very unique place where people are gathering 200 years ago. This is where markets are. This is where the cultural activities are happening. So how can we show that to the tourists to appreciate those? And then at the same time, if you are going to a lot of places in Thailand without the actual tour guide, you can't really understand what's happening in Thailand. If you see the old ruins or the old palace, how do you know if that used to be part of a great historical sites or a palace or some kind of big major famous war has happened here. So there has to be some kind of way that once you are experiencing or walking through the historical heritage site, you can actually experience these kind of experience yourself. And with that, also if you have been, and I would like to invite all of us to Thailand also, if you've been to some of these really famous places for shopping, it's very crowded. It's Venice, really, literally. You can't really see your direction where you're going. So navigation is another aspect or the feature that we are highlighted on this platform, where once you are navigating, there should be a live real-time navigation systems along with the guideline of what are the very famous 100-year-old shop or restaurants nearby that you must visit. And for the navigation guidelines also, if we can actually incorporate the local products or merchandise or even the service, that way we can actually go in and easily navigate through to see what are the good discounts or even what are the main features that are available within the area. You don't have to walk the entire 5 kilometers to figure out what are the best service in that area or the one that you want. And then the third feature that's definitely is a must for most of the city is the shopping experience. COVID-19 has taught us that we really need these online shopping where you can somehow experience it. And we're not talking about just the shopping in the mall, but we're talking about shopping for the local products that are very highlighted in a certain area. So for example, if you don't come to Thailand, you cannot buy Thai silk. You cannot buy some of the very famous Thai jewelry, silver or platinum or any kind of other jewelries that you have. And then the last one would be the smart city, the civil service. So like Dr. Non, the previous speaker has already mentioned, the flood would be one of the main problem in Thailand and in many cities. So how can we make use of several of the sensors or data that already exist in many of the cities here in Thailand now? We are collecting data, but can we actually make some good use out of it? Prediction of if there are so many rainfalls within the certain amount of days, where are the areas that has the highest risk of getting the flood coming first? Or even PM 2.5, how can we manage that if PM 2.5 comes around, what would be the best way to manage or deal with that? And with that, this is the main projects that we are currently working on, along with some of the other ones that we are partner. And this center, again, it's a national center. It's located at KMITL, but what we are looking for is actually working with researchers and organizations worldwide or even in Thailand to create the best technology and workforce for the nation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. 여러분 다시 한번 큰
Please give her a big round of applause once again.
네, 고맙습니다. 이어서 만나보실
And moving on, we will also hear from a Thai speaker, presentation number 8 from the city of Nakhon Si Thammarat. Mayor Khanup Kachatar is here with us, and he will present on a way forward for city of Nakhon Si Thammarat, Thailand, on the Metaverse. Please welcome him with a big round of applause.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for having me here. My presentation today is about a journey of a historic 1,000 years old city and the implementation of a new technology like smart city and metaverse in order to solve city problems and to improve quality of city life. My presentation outline, we start with the city overview and go to the smart city applications and the implementation of the Metaverse projects, followed by a summary and the next project of the city. This is our city. It's a historic city. That temple is 1,000 years old. Population is 120 people. We have a tourist attractions and the center of education. We have 10 schools in the city system. For the smart city applications, the keyword for smart city is that people must be able to use it easily and then have the way to participate in the technology. So the application that we use, very simple and stable and very easy to use with the e-service platform, local market, CCTV for flood warning and security, license plates recognition for police work, and telemedicine for the city hospital. This platform to connect residents of the city to the city public service. So I asked the residents that if you could help and build and fix the city together, are you ready to do it? So right now, this platform, we have 34,000 volunteers to help the city. That's 30% of the city population. The bottom line is very easy. If you see a problem, you use your smartphone to take a picture and send it to the platform, and we will fix it in 48 hours. That's a guarantee. So far, this year, we have solved 4,500 cases already. And the online city market is a platform, free mobile platform to connect local vendors who is cannot connect with the commercial platform, so they can switch to use the city platform with the local vendors and the rider. Rider, we use what we call motorcycle taxis, connect to the customer. It's very popular in the city right now. And of course, we have CCTV that work for traffic and for flood. And this is for the city police, license plate recognition. And we have a city hospital, use telemedicine to connect the doctor at the hospital and the patient at the house who cannot come to the hospital. Next step is the Metaverse. The way the city sees the Metaverse, it is a tool, not a silver bullet to solve the city problem. It's a progress of the smart city. It must be cost-effective, and we need to get public approval to go ahead with the project. So what do we do with the new technology? It's a very simple but not easy to do. We do a pilot project and ask people and listen to people, and then we follow what people say and follow people. They will lead the city to the right direction. People will always be right. And to get the Metaverse in the city, we need have to invest in the digital public infrastructure to get everybody to connect to the Metaverse experience. Free access. Our focus is not on the business, but on the education and healthcare. The first project is to prepare the city from Metaverse. It's a new tool, so people have to get to use it and learn it and then absorb it. So they know what is it and how to use it, how do they benefit from this tool. So we put a free Metaverse for everybody at the city center that we call the City Learning Park. And then we train a volunteer to help old people and people with disabilities. They can join the Metaverse experience as well. Okay, Metaverse is not about young generations, for everybody, it's for all. So to gain the public approval, this is a grandpa of 80 years old, and she enjoys Metaverse very much. She will go home and tell her kids about her experience at the city center. And we have volunteers. Right now, we have a seminar. We train, so far we have 400 volunteers. By the end of next month, we have 1,000 volunteers to help old people and people with disability to access this, to connect to the Metaverse. The second project is the next step. After we introduce getting people to use to the new tool of the Metaverse, we create a project called Metaverse in City Schools. We have 10 city schools with 11,000 students. We want to create educational experience that is impossible in traditional environment. I have to say it again, the same word that I say to our teachers, that Metaverse is your tool. It's not a silver bullet to solve all educational problems in the city. But it's a wonderful tool, so we want you to learn and use it for your work in school. First, we have to train teachers to apply Metaverse in real school curriculum. And then next, we pilot classroom. Then we will extend it to all city schools. So 11,000 students from different backgrounds in the city will have a chance to use the Metaverse for the education. This is a teacher training. All young teachers And this is a pilot classroom with a small kids around 10 years old. In summary, Metaverse for us is the progress of a smart city. The first project is the Metaverse for all, must be free for everybody in the city. So the project engages city officials, volunteers, residents to understand and to use the Metaverse as a tool for their needs. They have different needs in the city. And the second project that we implemented is the Metaverse in city schools. Apply in 10 schools, 11,000 students. And the key so far that we have learned, you must train teacher first to understand this tool. And based on the growing number of public participation, they're very exciting. All the parents are talking about this project. Their kids learn in school, nowhere else in the city that can learn Metaverse experience in school. The future of the Metaverse initiatives is promising, especially in education and healthcare. What's next? Next year, we are building a center. We call it City Interactive Digital Center. So students all around the city can come to the center and learn and practice and create whatever they want. Also, we have a section for local entrepreneurs to use this Metaverse for their business. The second project will be VR experience in the city museum. And the last one, we are very much looking forward to implementing this project. It's a Metaverse for aging society. Metaverse is for everybody to benefit from this new technology. I would like to say thank you to BIPA agencies and DPA agencies of Thailand for giving me the opportunity to come to this wonderful and magnificent city of Busan. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your presentation. Now we would like to open up the floor since we do have some time left for your segment. 네, 저희 혹시 질문이 있으신 분 계세요?
If you have any questions from the floor, we may take a question because we have some time. Any questions? From the floor, we don't have questions, so we will close the presentation. But if you have any questions, you can go to the question button on our website and you can send your questions and comments. So please go there and feel free to share your thoughts. Thank you very much for the presentation.
여러분 다시 한번 박수.
Please give him another big round of applause. Thank you very much.
네. 이렇게 한 아세안 포럼 연사분들 만나보셨는데요. 메타버스 산업 활성화를 위한 한국과 또 아세안 국가들의 앞으로의 미래 또 발전이 더욱더 기대가 되는 시간이었습니다. 여러분 저희는 잠시 10분 정도 휴식을 취하시고요.
We will have 10-minute break and after that we will have MOU signing event. I hope you participate in this session too. Thank you.
아세안은 한국의 영원한 친구이며 운명 공동체입니다. 아세안의 발전이 한국의 발전이라는 생각으로
ICT 산업융합형 실감 콘텐츠는 가상현실, 증강현실, 홀로그램 등 인간이 외부와 소통할 수 있는 디지털 콘텐츠의 확장입니다. 이를 기반으로 부산에 2020년 문을 연 한아세안 ICT 융합 빌리지는 국내 유일의 ICT 산업융합형 실감 콘텐츠 전문 기관으로 한아세안 간의 상호 동반 성장에 앞장서고 있습니다. 세계 최초 한국 5G 기반 ICT 산업융합형 실감 콘텐츠를 중심으로 한아세안 간 ICT 교류 협력을 주도하며 미래지향적 관계를 이어갈 차세대 네트워크 구축에 힘쓰고 있습니다. 한아세안 간 ICT 산업융합형 실감 콘텐츠 산업을 선도하기 위해 5G 관제 시스템, 홀로그램 화상회의, 혼합현실 스튜디오 등을 갖춘 K-아세안 XR랩을 운영, 5G 실감 콘텐츠 개발 및 검증, 보완, 시연을 한자리에서 시행할 수 있는 인프라를 구축했습니다. 대한민국 기술로 완성된 ICT 산업융합형 실감 콘텐츠 인프라는 관련 산업 육성 및 한아세안 국가 간 협업사업 개발 활성화 지원에도 큰 역할을 할 것입니다. 사람이나 물체를 360도 방향에서 촬영하여 3D 데이터 기반의 실감 콘텐츠를 제작할 수 있는 360도 볼륨 매트릭 스튜디오, 대한민국 기술로 만든 국내 최대 촬영 범위를 가진 시설로 약 50대 이상의 4K 카메라, 프리뷰 기능 후반 공정을 위한 맵 정보 제공 등 국내 첨단 ICT 기술의 집약체입니다. ICT 산업융합형 실감 콘텐츠를 제작, 유통할 인력 양성을 위해 KXR 전문 교육장도 마련했습니다. 한아세안 전문 인력들이 함께 교육받으며 네트워크를 구축할 수 있습니다.
drop say everything what you dreamed in, the one drop say. It's like a dream of the sky, but it's real in my sight. I see we're in the city of wonder. Dreamed out under the sun, riding high, follow the bright, guiding light. Come join us for a little ride. There's magic in the air tonight.
아세안은 한국의 영원한 친구이며 운명 공동체입니다. 아세안의 발전이 한국의 발전이라는 생각으로
ICT 산업융합형 실감 콘텐츠는 가상현실, 증강현실, 홀로그램 등 인간이 외부와 소통할 수 있는 디지털 콘텐츠의 확장입니다. 이를 기반으로 부산에 2020년 문을 연 한아세안 ICT 융합 빌리지는 국내 유일의 ICT 산업융합형 실감 콘텐츠 전문 기관으로 한아세안 간의 상호 동반 성장에 앞장서고 있습니다. 세계 최초 한국 5G 기반 ICT 산업융합형 실감 콘텐츠를 중심으로 한 아세안 간 ICT 교류 협력을 주도하며 미래지향적 관계를 이어갈 차세대 네트워크 구축에 힘쓰고 있습니다. 한 아세안 간 ICT 산업융합형 실감 콘텐츠 산업을 선도하기 위해 5G 관제 시스템, 홀로그램 화상회의, 혼합현실 스튜디오 등을 갖춘 K-아세안 XR랩을 운영, 5G 실감 콘텐츠 개발 및 검증, 보완, 시연을 한자리에서 시행할 수 있는 인프라를 구축했습니다. 대한민국 기술로 완성된 ICT 산업융합형 실감 콘텐츠 인프라는 관련 산업 육성 및 한아세안 국가 간 협업사업 개발 활성화 지원에도 큰 역할을 할 것입니다. 사람이나 물체를 360도 방향에서 촬영하여 3D 데이터 기반의 실감 콘텐츠를 제작할 수 있는 360도 볼륨 매트릭 스튜디오, 대한민국 기술로 만든 국내 최대 촬영 범위를 가진 시설로 약 50대 이상의 4K 카메라, 프리뷰 기능 후방 공정을 위한 맵 정보 제공 등 국내 첨단 ICT 기술에
now on, let's begin the MOU signing ceremony of BIPA and KMITL. For this event, we have distinguished guests here with us. I would like to invite our distinguished guests onto the floor. We have President Jung Moon-seop of BIPA. Please come up to the stage and take your seats. Then we have Vice President of KMILT. Please give them a big round of applause.
MOU signing ceremony. Please be seated. 네, 고맙습니다.
Thank you. I'll briefly introduce you about the MOU. As mentioned, the MOU signing ceremony is brought to you by BIPA and King Mongkut's Institute of Technology, Lat Krabang, KMIT-LT. And this MOU is on cooperating on joint research and education program for digital reality and metaverse. We have the MOU on to the stage, and if you agree to the MOU and if you agree to it, please sign it.
Give us your autograph. 네, 서명을 해 주시.
While signing, please sign the MOU. So while signing, I briefly go over the content of the MOU. And after signing the first page, first MOU, then exchange it. And if you agree with the terms, please sign it. To promote the ICT convergence technology and to form an effective network, the two organizations will cooperate on establishing a center. Let's please stand up and let's take a commemorative photo. So open the MOU and face it to the camera and let's take a photo.
네, 앞쪽 카메라를 봐주시기 바라겠습니다. 공동 연구 개발은 물론이고.
So both institutions will make efforts to promote the industry of the two countries and further strengthen the network between the two. For the future of the two institutions, please give them a big round of applause.
네, 고맙습니다.
Thank you. This concludes the signing ceremony of the MOU between BIPA and KMILT. Thank you. Thank you for your participation, and please give them a big round of applause once again. In going forward, we hope that there will be a lot of exchange based on ICT and Metaverse cooperation projects between Korea and ASEAN. I hope that all of you could support and have interest in our future works. Track 2 will begin from 1:20. Please enjoy your break and we will meet you again at 1:20.